As we have already started with the revision classes for BCom 6th semester students, I am Professor Ashwini Naik, dealing with the subject income tax. As I told, we have started with the revision classes. So we are starting revision classes from the first unit, that is capital gain and income from other sources. So our first unit is capital gains and income from other sources. Today we are going to cover these all things that are mentioned on the board. First is introduction of the unit. Second is the meaning of capital gain. Then the meaning of capital asset. Then the classification of capital asset based on two different categories. And then in the next class we are going to cover the problems. So today's class is basically a theoretical class. Let me begin with the introduction part. The introduction is very basic concept of income tax. We have total 5 different heads of income. First head of income is income from salary. Second head of income is income from house property. Third head of income is income from business or profession, that is profit and gain from business and profession. Fourth head of income is capital gains, and fifth head of income is income from other sources. Our first unit is capital gain and income from other sources. That is, capital gain is fourth head of income chargeable to the tax, and income from other sources is fifth head chargeable to the tax. This is about the introduction part. We have 5 different heads of income. Last semester you have studied income from salary, income from house property, income or profit from business and profession, and this semester you are studying capital gain and income from other sources as your first unit. Let us move further, that is the meaning of capital gain. What is capital gain? Capital gain is any profit arising from transfer of capital asset. Any profit or any gain arising from transfer of capital asset is called as capital gain. Let me write the meaning of capital gain. Capital gain is profit arising from transfer of capital assets. So profit or gain arising from transfer in the sense exchange or sale or compulsory acquisition of asset. So any profit arising from sale or exchange of capital asset is called as capital gain. Coming to next part, now we have learned what is capital gain. Profit arising from transfer of capital asset is capital gain. What is capital asset? Capital asset is any kind of property held by the assessee. So the capital asset is any kind of property held by the assessee. The property, it can be related to business or not. It can be private, that means it can be used for private purpose or for business purpose. It can be movable, it can be immovable, it can be tangible, it can be intangible, etc. So capital asset is any property held by the assessee. whether it is for private use or for the purpose of business. There are two exceptions for this term capital asset. One is stock in trade. Stock in trade will not be considered as part of capital asset. Second is any personal effect. Any personal effect in the sense, examples are car used for the purpose of personal use, or refrigerator used, or furniture used, or washing machine used, or any kitchen items or utensils that are used in the house. These all are the example of personal effect. So stock in trade and personal effect will not form the part of capital asset. Except these two, any other properties held by the assessee are considered as capital assets. So we are done with the introduction. Capital gain is fourth head of income chargeable to the tax. Capital gain is profit arising from transfer, in the sense sale or exchange of capital asset. Capital asset means any kind of property held by the assessee, movable, immovable, tangible, intangible, whether it is for private use or business use. So those assets are called as capital asset. Moving to very important part of this unit is classification of capital asset. Capital assets are classified into two categories, which is written on the board. First classification is on the basis of nature of the capital asset, and second classification is on the basis of holding period. Now let us understand this in detail. On the basis of nature of capital asset, it is classified into two categories. One is financial assets, and the second classification is non-financial assets. And what are the financial assets or example of financial assets? Examples are equity shares, preference, debentures, government securities, zero coupon bonds, units of UTI, unlisted shares, etc. Why I have to star mark for unlisted shares? I will explain you later. Financial assets, example are equity shares, preference, debentures, government securities, zero coupon bonds, etc. Examples of non-financial assets are, it is plant and machinery, it is furnitures, jewelry, again a star mark, land or building or land and buildings both. We are seeing the classification of capital asset. Capital asset is classified on the basis of nature as well as on the basis of holding period. Right now we are seeing the first classification, that is on the basis of nature. It is classified into two. One is financial assets, second is non-financial assets. Example of financial assets are equity shares, preference, debenture, government securities, etc. Second is on the basis of holding period. Holding period is based on this classification, that is nature. Now let me explain this part to you. Second is on the basis of holding period. Number one is short term capital asset. Second is long term capital assets. Now pay attention to this part. Holding period in case of financial assets for equity shares, preference shares, debentures, government securities, zero coupon bonds, units of UTI, etc. The holding period is 12 months. In case of unlisted shares, the holding period is 24 months. In case of non-financial assets, plant and machinery, furniture, jewellery, etc., the holding period is 36 months. I hope it is visible. And land and building, the holding period is 24 months. Here I have put star mark for unlisted shares and land and building. In case of financial assets, unlisted shares, the holding period is 24 months. In case of non-financial asset, land and building, the holding period is 24 months. All other financial assets, holding period is 12 months, and all other non-financial assets except land and building, the holding period is 36 months. Now, in case of equity shares, let me give you my own example. Suppose I have purchased equity shares, listed equity shares on 1st January 2020. I purchased equity shares on 1st January 2020 and I want to sell those equity shares today, that is 11th August 2020. How long am I holding these assets? I think it is 7 months and odd. Am I holding these assets for 12 months? No. The holding period of the listed equity shares is only 7 months or odd. When any financial asset held by the assessee for the period less than the holding period, they are called as short-term capital asset. So, I am holding these assets for how many months? 7 months. Below 12 months, I am holding those assets. Sorry, less than 12 months, I am holding those assets. So, the shares that I am holding, they are called as short-term capital asset. So, after selling those shares, if I get any gain or profit, it is called as short-term capital gain. I hope it is clear. Or in case instead 2020, I purchased those assets in the year 2019. 1st January 2019 I purchased and I am selling it today, that is 11th August 2020. What is holding period of the assets? More than 12 months. When it is more than 12 months, those assets are called as long-term capital asset. So any gain I receive from selling or transferring those capital assets is long-term capital gain. So whether the asset is short-term capital asset or it is long-term capital asset, purely based on the holding period. One more example. Here, instead of listed shares, I purchased unlisted shares. The date remains the same. 1st January 2019 I purchased, 11th August 2020 I am selling. case of only unlisted shares, that is financial asset, the holding period is 24 months. If I am holding these assets for less than 24 months, these are short-term capital asset. I am holding it for more than 24 months, it is long-term capital asset. So what is the answer? 1st January 2019 it is purchased, 11th August 2020 it is sold, holding period is less than 24 months, therefore it is a short-term capital asset. So any gain that I may receive by selling unlisted shares, it will be called as short-term capital gain. I hope this part is clear to you. Same in case of non-financial asset. In case of plant and machinery, furniture, jewellery or any other capital asset other than land and building, the holding period is 36 months. So if the assessee is holding those assets for 36 months or more, the asset is long-term capital asset, and if the assessee is holding those assets for 36 months or less, it is short-term capital asset. Only in case of land and building, the holding period is 24 months. Holding more than 24 months, long-term capital asset. Holding less than 24 months, it is short-term capital asset. So as I told you here, there is a direct link between the classification of capital asset on the basis of nature and the classification of capital asset on the basis of holding period. So on the basis of holding period, we decide whether the capital asset is short-term capital asset or long-term capital asset. On the basis of nature of capital asset, one is financial asset, second is non-financial asset. On the basis of holding period, it is short-term capital asset or long-term capital asset. I hope this part is clear to you, and the next class we are going to learn the format, how short-term capital gain is calculated, and we are going to see one or two problems on short-term capital gain.